Hello, this is Tom for Tabletop Tap Room. This is a video I was kind of forced to make because there's a little bit of a row between two convention organizers. And a publisher called me and asked me to get involved. Well, no, they didn't call me. They texted me and they said, would you call so-and-so? And I said, okay, because I'm friendly with both. So I was like, yeah, sure. Well, I have learned a valuable lesson. Do not get involved. That's your first mistake. If somebody asks you to mediate, you need to ask both parties, are you willing for me to mediate your little dispute? If they aren't, don't get involved. So I got involved, and now I'm going to just do a breakdown on what the row is. So this is Tom for Tabletop Tap Room saying thanks for watching my video. Thanks to my subscribers. And this is a tale of jealousy and two conventions. Moving right along. You had two conventions got scheduled on the same date. Apparently that wasn't a problem because for months, the convention organizer of one would show up in the live stream comments of the other guy's vlog of many things. So right there, you know who I'm talking about. It's Don Samora, Wizard Con and Wizard Tower Games is the one. And I'm not going to name the other guy. So there's no problem. All folksy for months in the comments, showing up to support, being part of the comments, folksy. I can show you. I can show you one of the comments. Let's go there. So in here, he says, right up here, this comment, yes, WotC's looking to use influencers with bribes to get favorable views. Well, I grabbed this particular comment because it might be pertinent later in the video because it's a disparaging comment about WotC, and that might be important later on. But needless to say, you just go to the vlog and many things, and you keep going back, you will see that individual is in there and posting all the time. So this idea that we had a verbal agreement not to schedule, I got texted. I said, yes, I'll give so-and-so a call. He's refused to take my phone calls. They're all kicked to voicemail, but he will answer me by text message and probably not at all after today. But I did ask him, about this. And one of the things he said was, that WizardCon is always the last weekend in April. Well, I did some checking, and let me see. It was the 8th and 11th in 2022. So on the 8th and 11th, that would be the second weekend of 2022. It's the 8th and 11th. And then in 2023, it was the 14th and the 16th. Second weekend. And then in 2024, it was the 26th, 28th. So only this year, out of the last three that I found, was DaveCon the last weekend in April. So that assertion and allegation is not true. So, with verbal agreements, there's no such thing as verbal agreements. They're not binding legally or anything at all. The only time you might see a legal agreement have any impact is if you go into court and say, we had a verbal agreement. The judge looks at the other party and says, did you indeed have a verbal agreement? Yes, I did, Your Honor. Did you agree? Yeah. Well, then, fine. That's the only time. Okay, but Don Samora is denying the presence of any verbal agreement. And frankly, I don't see why he would make that verbal agreement. These conventions are 500 miles apart. Maybe if they shared the same town, you'd make that kind of an agreement with somebody, but they're 500 miles apart. I don't understand. It makes no sense. Okay, and the fact that The other guy was present in Don's videos in the comments. They, week in, week out, week in, week out, month in, month out, for months. Not a problem. He's not put out and pissed over the violation of a gentleman's agreement. Ah! It makes no sense. Okay? But the row began the day after Heidi Gayax Garland announced she was attending WizardCon because she canceled at DaveCon. Okay. So I didn't originally when I asked the original convention organizer, I said, what excuse did Heidi give when she canceled at your con? And he said it was because of the statement I made concerning Adventure League. I'm going to call it a political statement. He made a political statement that he was pissed at WotC for disparaging grognards and gamers, and the founders of D&D. And so for that reason, Adventure League was canceled. And it's right there. Go to DaveCon Facebook page. There it is. I've got screenshots, but she said, look, she's got a company, Gaxland. Her name's associated with Gary Con to a lesser degree than Luke's. Yeah. But yeah, her company produces 5e and 1e materials, and they just don't want to be part of a political grandstanding statement saying, WotC, how dare you? That's okay, fine. That's on her. That's her choice. Okay. And so she backed out, and then she booked another con. But now the accusation is, well, that con poached my. No, they didn't. You made a political statement. It made a guest uncomfortable, and they backed out. That's on you. Grow up. That's on you. That's your fault. Okay. And because it was virtue signaling by a grognard for other grognards saying, see how we are giving it to WotC. Okay. We'll get back to that. Giving it to WotC. End of story. There's no poaching. Okay. Now, I asked him, I said, when have you ever had Adventure League as part of DaveCon? And he said, well, WotC asked me. And you had to go out of your way to make a public statement like this that clearly draws battle lines and then puts your guests on the spot. If they're attending your conference, then they're kind of in support of your political view. You make that a cornerstone of your convention, and it doesn't look good. And I had to ask, really? Did WotC really, or were you just virtue signaling for grognards? Because it was a hot topic right now. All of a sudden, WotC desperate to get into DaveCon. I mean, because, DaveCon must have thousands of 5e players showing up. No, it doesn't have thousands of 5e players showing up. It's dedicated to Dave Arneson. That's the theme of the con. It's a con that focuses on 1e play, not 5e. Yeah, they do have 5e play. Yeah, maybe. I can't say that they don't. I haven't attended. Okay, but it's a con that's focused. It's going to be focused on 5e play, or maybe you're going to have Wesley running his Bronstein game there, and that's certainly not 5e. That's more like OD&D before OD&D almost. So yeah, no, you don't have thousands of people showing up. It's not happening. And WotC, billion-dollar company, wants to get into DaveCon with Adventure League? Really? I wasn't sure how many people would attend DaveCon. I mean, maybe they'd have 5,000 people attending DaveCon. I don't know. So I called the hotel and said, oh, yeah, I'm interested in booking the same room. I saw this other convention. I'm looking at the pictures online. Love the setup. I want to book the same room that DaveCon booked. Oh, yeah, sure. We can help you with that. Oh, by the way, what's the maximum capacity? Before we get too far, what's the maximum capacity for that part of the venue, for that venue? And it was 100 people. So DaveCon in 2024 booked a venue, maximum capacity, 100 people. I don't know what they sold for tickets. Okay. I don't know what it is, but I know the hotel's maximum capacity for the booked venue is 100 people. So DaveCon's kind of small. They're not big. Okay. And if they want to say, well, no, we have 200 people, still small. You got $1 billion company desperate to get into Dave. I don't know. I'm not buying it. And I already been lied to concerning DaveCon's always on the last weekend in April. No, it's not. The previous year, second weekend, previous year, but then that second week. No, it's all over the place. It books a weekend in April. So this whole thing is just, stupid. And the beginning incident here is this statement against WotC. And listen, you want to make a statement against, great, have at it. I don't like WotC. I said some disparaging things against WotC. You want to make a disparaging statement against WotC? Have at it, buddy. You do you. But that triggered a guest saying, I can't come. And then they booked another con. Okay? That's your fault. That's not another con poaching. That's your fault. And the minute that guest announces they're going to a different convention, suddenly you have a problem with that convention. When for months you've been on that organizer's video blog, making positive comments, being folksy, making some disparaging comments about WotC. I think, look, your virtue signaling didn't work. Okay? That's on you. You are the first cause in all of this. And now you're trying to piss in the Wheaties of a convention 500 miles away. Do you know how far 500 miles is? That's from where I sit right now. I'm in Auburn. Across the river is Lewiston. Everybody's heard of Lewiston. They've not so much heard of Auburn, Maine. So Lewiston, Maine to Toronto, Canada, 500 miles. The state of Maine, top to bottom, is not even 500 miles. Okay. San Diego to San Fran, 500 miles, 449 miles. So 450 miles, right? Salt Lake City, Utah to Denver, Colorado, 500 miles. I mean, listen, I don't know how big you think you are. You could piss that far. It's stupid for you to try. Seriously. Neither convention is drawing away gamers from the other. You're just not. Okay? And a convention guest said, I don't want to be part of your political thing. She's got a publishing business. She produces 5e stuff, her and her husband. I'm sorry. She don't want to be a part of it. She backs out. That's her call. Okay? You want to do this, and I go looking into this Adventure League thing, and I can't find, I went and talked to another convention organizer who's got a convention that goes over 1,000 people, asking about Adventure League. Hey, I can tell you about Adventure League, blah, 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 blah. And I went looking online, and I got the WotC documents for the player's guide for Adventure League, the DM's guide for Adventure League. I went looking for the convention organizer. It doesn't exist. You see, Adventure League, for all I can tell, is an opt-in. You want to run an Adventure League game at a local store or a convention, you just got to have the Dungeon Master's Guide for it and the rule book and some dice and about 5 or 6 people who are going to play. Boom. It's an opt-in. You decide to opt in. WotC's not out there recruiting conventions to run it. No. Because the convention decides, all right, we're going to have eventually, you got to have the game masters. You have the game masters who are willing to run the games. That's an opt-in. That's an opt-in. So as far as I can tell, it's a total opt-in. So I'm just not believing this whole thing. It was just virtue signaling, and you got burned. All right? Grow up. Now, it's my hope that both of these men will just get busy producing a good con. That's what they need to do. Because by and large, most gamers just don't give a crap. You poached my guest. You squatted on my weekend. Nobody cares, okay? I mean, what if Heidi had booked TotalCon? It's the same weekend. TotalCon in Connecticut, same weekend, even further away than Michigan from Minnesota. I mean, come on. That's her choice. I mean, oh, they poached my guest. No, they didn't. All right? They didn't. So get busy organizing games, because in the words of one of you, gamer memories, especially the old guard, is very long. Oh yeah, creating a pissing match between two conventions does nobody any good. Really, move on. Get busy with it. Okay, if you're in Michigan, you're probably going to want to attend WizardCon. All right, and they got some great guests. They've got Sigourney Weaver, reportedly, is showing up by video for 2 minutes. She's going to phone in. Michael Biehn from Aliens, going to be there to sign autographs. Jeff T, Tim Cass, Wampler. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to be there, and not to go Heidi Gygax, who, okay, but kind of Heidi Gygax, who I think these other names are a bigger draw for me than I don't mean to back the bus up over Heidi, because listen, she's one of the original playtesters of D&D. She's got a publishing company. She puts out 1E and 5E compatible stuff. I think she's had some input to GaryCon as well. So, I mean, come on. Don didn't need to poach Heidi. He didn't poach Heidi. She's a big girl. She canceled one con. She booked another. End of story. Stop this stuff. Get busy with putting on good gaming conventions. That's what we need. We don't need the jealousy. We don't need the piss and match. And I'm pretty sure your pee don't reach 500 miles. Okay? And gamers have long memories. Yes, they do. They will remember if you create a row. We don't need this. Let's move on. And next time somebody calls me to mediate, my first question will be, are you two willing for me to mediate? Otherwise, I ain't getting involved. Stick a fork in me. I am now done with this, providing there's not another blow up to it. I am so done. So done. That's it. Move on, guys. And by move on, guys, I really just mean one of you who's being jealous and petulant. So let's go and game and have a good time at a convention this spring or summer, wherever. It's nothing better than convention gaming. Honestly, it's better than your kitchen table. I love it. So this is Tom for Tabletop Taproom signing out. Keep on gaming. Do it someplace. Do it at a convention. Do it at your kitchen table. Do it online. I don't care. But have fun.